Because when I read this book, I feel like you know everything that has ever been put on a screen.
I've never seen Sound of Music.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen
The Sound of Music. Wow.
I've never seen Sound of Music.
Wow. I'd love to watch that with you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're stepping into the wild, stylish world of Quentin Tarantino. From his bold lifestyle and blockbuster bank account to the latest buzz straight out of Hollywood. If you're a fan of film, fame, and fortune, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss a reel-worthy story. Let's get into it. Early life. Born Quentin Jerome Tarantino on March 27, 1963, in Knoxville, Tennessee, Tarantino came into the world under modest circumstances that would later inform the raw, unfiltered energy of his filmmaking style. His mother, Connie McHugh, was only 16 when she gave birth to Quentin, and she raised him largely as a single parent. His father, Tony Tarantino, was an aspiring actor and musician of Italian descent who left the family before Quentin was born. Despite growing up without a father figure, Tarantino would later cite his mother's unorthodox parenting and unwavering support as crucial in nurturing his creativity and fierce independence. When Quentin was just a toddler, his mother relocated them to Los Angeles, California, a city that would become the backdrop for much of his future work. Settling in the South Bay area, Tarantino grew up surrounded by a diverse cultural landscape and was immersed in the world of film from an early age. Connie, a lover of cinema herself, frequently took Quentin to movies, often allowing him to watch adult-oriented films far beyond his years. This early and unfiltered exposure to genre films, blaxploitation, kung fu, spaghetti westerns, and grindhouse, left an indelible impression on the young Tarantino and ignited a passion for storytelling that would never leave him. As a child, Quentin showed little interest in academics, but thrived in anything related to the arts. His love for movies quickly became an obsession. He would memorize entire scripts, reenact scenes, and even write his own screenplays before reaching his teenage years. He also developed an early love for comic books and pulp fiction novels, both of which contributed to his signature storytelling style, rich with stylized dialogue, non-linear narratives, and pop culture references. Tarantino attended Narbonne High School in Harbor City, Los Angeles, but struggled with traditional classroom settings and eventually dropped out at the age of 15. Around this time, he took a job ushering at an adult movie theater in Torrance, and later began taking acting classes at the James Best Theater Company, where he formed pivotal relationships with other aspiring performers. These experiences not only helped him sharpen his understanding of character and dialogue, but also connected him to a community that encouraged his creative ambitions. One of the most formative experiences of Tarantino's early life came in the mid-1880s when he began working at Video Archives, a now iconic video rental store in Manhattan Beach. Surrounded by a treasure trove of obscure and classic films, Quentin spent years devouring movies of every genre, sharing recommendations with customers, and developing his encyclopedic knowledge of cinema. It was here that he began crafting the ideas that would evolve into his first screenplays. The store also introduced him to like-minded cinephiles, including future collaborators like Roger Avary, with whom he co-wrote Pulp Fiction. Tarantino's early years were a blend of unconventional parenting, relentless movie watching, and self-education through film and literature. Largely self-taught and driven by an almost obsessive love of cinema, Quentin Tarantino's formative experiences shaped him into a filmmaker whose voice would redefine modern cinema. His journey from video store clerk to one of Hollywood's most iconic directors is a testament to the idea that passion, when relentlessly pursued, can overcome even the most untraditional of beginnings. Career and success. Quentin Tarantino's journey from video store clerk to cinematic icon is one of the most compelling success stories in modern film history. Building on the raw passion for movies he cultivated during his early life, Tarantino's breakthrough came in 1992 with Reservoir Dogs, a stylish, dialogue-driven crime thriller that he both wrote and directed. Premiering at the Sundance Film Festival, the film made an immediate impact with its non-linear storytelling, razor-sharp dialogue, and unapologetically violent tone. Reservoir Dogs not only announced Tarantino as a bold new voice in cinema, but also helped redefine independent filmmaking in the 1990s. Just 2 years later, Tarantino solidified his status as a major force in Hollywood with Pulp Fiction, 1994. The film was a cultural earthquake. Its intertwining narratives, unforgettable characters, and genre-bending style captivated audiences and critics alike. It won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival and earned Tarantino the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, along with a nomination for Best Director. Pulp Fiction didn't just succeed, it became a defining film of the decade, influencing an entire generation of filmmakers and establishing Tarantino as a household name. Tarantino's career continued to flourish with a string of bold, ambitious projects. He followed Pulp Fiction with Jackie Brown, 1997, a nuanced homage to 1970s blaxploitation films, and then took a creative turn with the Kill Bill saga, Volume 1, 2003, and Volume 2, 2004, a martial arts revenge epic that paid tribute to everything from samurai cinema to spaghetti westerns. Each film deepened Tarantino's reputation as a genre alchemist, blending homage and originality in ways that were uniquely his own. One of Tarantino's defining traits has been his long-standing collaborations with actors and behind-the-scenes talent. He's worked repeatedly with stars like Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Christoph Waltz, the latter winning 2 Academy Awards for his roles in Inglourious Basterds, 2009, and Django Unchained, 2012, both written and directed by Tarantino. These films further expanded his thematic scope, tackling war and slavery through his signature lens of stylized violence and provocative dialogue. Django Unchained became his highest-grossing film at the time and won Tarantino his second Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. As his career evolved, Tarantino continued to push the boundaries of storytelling. The Hateful Eight, 2015, was a claustrophobic western that emphasized character tension and dialogue, while Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019, served as both a love letter to the golden age of cinema and a poignant reimagining of a dark chapter in Hollywood history. The latter earned 10 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture and Best Director, and brought Tarantino closer than ever to his goal of crafting cinematic experiences that both honor and reshape film history. Tarantino's impact on the industry is profound. His screenwriting style, marked by non-linear narratives, extended dialogue scenes, and pop culture-laden banter, has influenced countless writers and directors. He helped usher in the rise of independent cinema in the 1990s, proving that bold, unconventional stories could find both critical acclaim and box office success. His films have grossed over $1 billion worldwide, and he has consistently maintained creative control, often writing, directing, and even overseeing the marketing of his work. Income and net worth. Quentin Tarantino's financial success is a reflection of his status as one of Hollywood's most influential and distinctive filmmakers. With an estimated net worth ranging from $120 million to $150 million, Tarantino has built a substantial fortune through a combination of box office hits, back-end profits, screenwriting royalties, and savvy business decisions that have kept him in control of his creative and financial destiny. The bulk of Tarantino's income stems from his work as a writer, director, and producer. Unlike many in the film industry, he often negotiates deals that grant him a percentage of a film's profits, a strategy that has paid off tremendously. For instance, films like Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Basterds, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood grossed hundreds of millions of dollars globally, with Tarantino taking home significant back-end earnings. Django Unchained alone earned over $425 million worldwide, making it one of his most commercially successful projects to date. Tarantino also continues to generate income through screenwriting royalties and licensing. His scripts, known for their sharp dialogue and non-linear structure, are studied in film schools and frequently licensed for reprints, adaptations, and retrospectives. In addition, many of his films are re-released or bundled in collector's editions, which provide ongoing revenue long after their initial theatrical runs. More recently, Tarantino entered the literary world with the publication of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a novel, which became a bestseller. His deal to write 2 books with HarperCollins added another lucrative layer to his career, showcasing his ability to monetize his creativity beyond the big screen. He has also launched the Video Archives podcast, in collaboration with longtime friend and Pulp Fiction co-writer Roger Avery, which expands his influence in the digital and fan-driven space. What sets Tarantino apart is his business acumen and insistence on creative control. He often maintains ownership rights to his films and insists on being involved in distribution and marketing decisions, ensuring that both the financial and artistic outcomes align with his vision. These strategic moves have allowed him to retain a larger share of profits compared to many directors. With his career spanning more than 3 decades and his films continuing to perform well on streaming platforms, in syndication, and through international licensing, Tarantino's income remains steady and significant. Lifestyle insights. Beyond his financial success and cinematic legacy, Quentin Tarantino leads a lifestyle that is as unique and uncompromising as his films. Known for his eccentric tastes and obsessive passion for cinema, Tarantino has built a life steeped in nostalgia, creative indulgence, and unapologetic individuality. His personal interests and habits offer a window into the mind of a director who lives and breathes storytelling, even when he's off the set. Tarantino's most well-known passion outside of filmmaking is his deep and encyclopedic love for movies. But this isn't just a professional trait, it's a lifestyle. He reportedly owns thousands of VHS tapes and 35mm film reels, and his home is said to resemble a personal film museum. This obsession also led him to purchase the New Beverly Cinema, a historic revival theater in Los Angeles, which he personally curates. The theater exclusively screens movies on film rather than digital projection, a testament to Tarantino's fierce devotion to preserving the traditional cinematic experience. He regularly attends screenings and often interacts with fans, making the theater a physical extension of his personality. When he's not immersed in cinema, Tarantino has a love for pop culture memorabilia, vintage items, and music, particularly old-school vinyl and classic rock and soul. He has also expressed a keen interest in literature and recently ventured into novel writing, which he said gives him a new outlet for his creativity. Tarantino's personal style mirrors his rebellious, retro aesthetic. Often seen in Hawaiian shirts, leather jackets, and Converse sneakers, he favors comfort and character over high fashion. His style choices often seem pulled from a different era, much like the films he adores. It's not just how he dresses. Tarantino's whole aura is rooted in a different time, reinforcing his image as a throwback auteur. Tarantino has also dabbled in philanthropy, though not as publicly as some of his Hollywood peers. He has supported causes related to film preservation and education, as well as contributed to charities tied to disaster relief and veterans affairs. While he doesn't often seek the spotlight for his charitable work, his dedication to preserving cinema and advocating for artistic integrity underscores his broader values. Having made clear his plan to cap his directorial career at 10 films, Tarantino has also announced he's not in a rush to begin work on that final 10th feature. According to Variety insiders, he's hesitant to finalize it quickly. He's afraid of ending his career on a bad note. Instead, he's taking his time, focusing on family life and creative exploration before committing to what he hopes will be a worthy capstone. Of course, Tarantino's journey hasn't been without controversy. Over the years, he has faced backlash for the depiction of violence in his films, his frequent use of explicit language, and his handling of sensitive subjects such as race and gender. He has also been criticized for his working relationship with Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced producer behind many of his earlier films. Tarantino has publicly acknowledged his regret for not doing more in light of Weinstein's abuse allegations, and has used interviews to express a more self-aware perspective. Additionally, comments he's made in past press appearances, particularly surrounding Roman Polanski and Uma Thurman's injuries on the Kill Bill set, have drawn criticism, prompting him to offer explanations, clarifications, and in some cases, apologies. These moments have forced Tarantino to reflect on his influence and public responsibility, and they appear to have shaped a more measured, introspective version of the once outrageous provocateur. Ultimately, Quentin Tarantino's lifestyle reflects his deep commitment to artistic integrity, nostalgia, and the preservation of cinematic history. He is a man shaped by stories. Those he watched as a child, those he crafted for the screen, and those he continues to write in his own life. Relationships and personal life. As Quentin Tarantino's creative legacy continues to grow, so too does the story of his personal relationships, marked by a mix of privacy, loyalty, and deep-rooted bonds that reflect the complexities of the man behind the camera. Known for keeping much of his personal life out of the public eye, Tarantino has nonetheless formed a number of meaningful, long-lasting connections that have significantly shaped both his personal journey and professional path. Tarantino's most significant personal relationship is with Daniela Pick, an Israeli singer and model whom he married in 2018. The two met in 2009 while Tarantino was promoting Inglourious Basterds in Israel. After years of an on-again, off-again courtship, they rekindled their relationship in 2016 and were engaged soon after. Their wedding marked a new chapter for Tarantino, who had previously expressed skepticism about marriage and fatherhood. However, becoming a husband, and later a father, seemed to shift his perspective dramatically. The couple now shares 2 children, including a son born in 2020 and a daughter in 2022. Tarantino has spoken openly about how fatherhood has changed his outlook on life, prompting him to slow down professionally and prioritize family time. He has even admitted that one of the reasons he's delaying his final film is so his children will be old enough to visit the set and remember the experience. This more grounded, family-centered approach reveals a more introspective side of Tarantino, one that values legacy not just in art, but in life. Though Tarantino does not often speak about his extended family, he has referenced his mother, Connie McHugh, in several interviews. Despite raising him as a single parent and supporting his early passion for movies, their relationship has reportedly been strained in recent years. Tarantino famously stated in an interview that he would never share his wealth with her due to past discouragement over his writing ambitions, comments that sparked a minor public controversy. Whether said in jest or sincerity, the moment reflected Tarantino's fiercely independent nature and his long memory when it comes to loyalty and support. Another important figure in Tarantino's inner circle is Robert Rodriguez, with whom he collaborated on From Dusk Till Dawn, Sin City, and the Grindhouse double feature. Their friendship is rooted not only in their shared love of genre films, but also in their mutual roles as writer-directors who carved out a place in Hollywood on their own terms. Tarantino also maintained a long-standing creative partnership with the late producer Lawrence Bender, who helped launch his early career with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. Though they eventually parted ways professionally, their early work together was foundational in shaping Tarantino's rise. Other key collaborators have included Harvey Keitel, Christoph Waltz, and Leonardo DiCaprio, all of whom have praised Tarantino's loyalty and visionary leadership on set. Despite being notoriously selective about his professional relationships, Tarantino is known for loyalty and trust once bonds are established. Many of his collaborators return film after film, not just for his scripts, but for the camaraderie and creative freedom he fosters. This tight-knit approach mirrors his personal values, particularly his emphasis on artistic integrity, authenticity, and long-term commitment over fleeting industry alliances. In many ways, Quentin Tarantino's relationships, both personal and professional, reflect his larger-than-life personality, passionate, uncompromising, and intensely loyal to those who earn his trust. Whether as a husband and father, a longtime friend, or a mentor to rising talent, Tarantino has cultivated a support system that grounds him, even as he prepares to take a step back from filmmaking. His connections, forged through creativity, resilience, and a deep respect for artistry, are not only central to his legacy, they're a powerful reflection of the man behind the movies. Real estate. Following his deep-rooted personal connections and unique lifestyle, Quentin Tarantino's real estate portfolio offers yet another glimpse into the distinctive world he has built for himself, one where cinematic nostalgia, artistic expression, and private family life all find their place. One of Tarantino's most notable homes is his long-held Hollywood Hills estate, nestled on a secluded 1.23-acre lot in Los Angeles. Estimated to be worth around $9 million, the property captures the essence of old-school Hollywood. The home features a screening room, multiple fireplaces, and expansive outdoor spaces with a pool and hot tub, making it an ideal retreat for someone whose life revolves around storytelling and cinema. Built in 1986, the mid-century-inspired design perfectly complements Tarantino's well-documented love for the visual and cultural styles of earlier decades. This residence has served as his creative sanctuary throughout some of his most successful filmmaking years. Complementing this Hollywood haven is another Los Angeles property known for its bright, expressive style. Reportedly purchased for about $1.6 million, this home stands out for its colorful design choices and open floor plan. It includes floor-to-ceiling windows, vibrant wall colors, and rooms filled with vintage movie posters and memorabilia, making it less of a status symbol and more of a personal gallery. The property has become a hub of creativity for Tarantino, providing a space where he can write, read, and reflect away from the spotlight. But perhaps the most headline-grabbing development in Tarantino's real estate journey is his move into international property ownership. In 2023, Quentin and his wife Daniela Pick made a major investment in Israel, purchasing 2 adjacent lots in Tel Baruch, a highly sought-after neighborhood in northern Tel Aviv. The combined land, totaling over 2,200 square meters, roughly 23,500 square feet, reportedly cost around 50 million Israeli new shekels, approximately $13.8 million. The existing structures on the lots are set to be demolished, with plans underway to build a custom-designed family residence. Currently, the Tarantino family resides in a rented luxury apartment in the upscale Kikar Hamadina area of Tel Aviv, while construction is ongoing. This temporary residence places them in one of the city's most exclusive neighborhoods, reflecting the director's increasing connection to his wife's homeland and his growing focus on raising a family in a more international setting. What sets Tarantino's real estate choices apart is not the size or opulence of the properties but the intention behind them. His homes are curated spaces, designed for privacy, creativity, and comfort. Private screening rooms, curated libraries, and retro interiors are common themes, offering insight into a lifestyle that prioritizes inspiration and authenticity over flashy excess. The properties are personal extensions of his artistic mind, filled with character and purpose. Cars and vehicles. Just as Quentin Tarantino's films are filled with iconic cars and unforgettable road scenes, his personal relationship with vehicles carries a cinematic flair of its own. In his early years, before fame and acclaim, Tarantino wasn't known for flashy rides. He reportedly drove modest, reliable cars, vehicles that got him to acting classes, video store shifts, and early writing sessions. His first car was said to be a Datsun, a simple, no-nonsense vehicle that reflected his grounded lifestyle as a struggling artist in Los Angeles. As his career took off with the success of Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, Tarantino's appreciation for classic American muscle cars and vintage rides began to surface. Not as a collector flaunting wealth, but as a storyteller drawn to the character and history behind certain models. He's often said that cars are as important to a film's aesthetic as costume or music, and that same sensibility shows in his personal choices. One of his most recognized vehicles is a 1964 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu, famously driven by John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction. What many fans don't know is that the car actually belonged to Tarantino himself, and it was stolen during the film's production. Years later, it was recovered and returned to him, making it not just a ride but a piece of Hollywood history. Tarantino also owns or has been seen driving other vintage American cars, often preferring models with cinematic pedigree or old-school charm over modern-day exotics. He isn't known for a sprawling car collection, but his choices always feel deliberate, vehicles that reflect his retro aesthetic and deep respect for cultural nostalgia. When it comes to travel, Tarantino keeps things relatively private. While he's flown on private jets for international press tours or film festivals, he's not a celebrity constantly flaunting luxury air travel. Instead, he prefers comfort and control, qualities echoed in his love for timeless, analog automobiles. In the end, Quentin Tarantino's relationship with cars is less about horsepower and prestige, and more about story, history, and character, much like the films he's known for. His vehicle choices speak volumes about his personality, bold, iconic, and always rooted in a deeper narrative. Current lifestyle. Quentin Tarantino in 2025 has carved out a distinctive path that balances continued creative output with a rich personal life. Though he stepped back from directing full-time, he remains firmly in the spotlight, on his own terms. After shelving his once-planned 10th film, The Movie Critic, in April 2024, Tarantino clarified at Sundance that he's in no hurry to rush his final movie. He's focused instead on writing a stage play and has hinted these efforts could evolve into theatrical or cinematic productions, if the timing and quality are right. Meanwhile, an untitled Quentin Tarantino project listed in Production Weekly suggests he might begin shooting a new film in December 2025, with returning collaborators like Brad Pitt, Uma Thurman, and Samuel L. Jackson, a potential remobilization of his filmmaking career. Tarantino and his wife Daniela Pick continue to split their time between Los Angeles and Tel Aviv. They're currently living in a rented apartment near Kikar Hamadina while overseeing construction on their future family home in Tel Baruch, where they hold 2 adjoining lots totaling roughly 2,200 square meters, purchased for around $14 million. With 2 young children at home, Tarantino emphasizes a slower pace, insisting he'd prefer his kids to remember his final film, which is why he's waiting until they're at least age 6. Away from the camera, Tarantino is active in film preservation and education, supporting cultural initiatives in both the US and Israel. He also contributes to cinema access programs in underserved communities, though prefers to keep a low profile. Meanwhile, his involvement in international literary projects, like expanding cinema speculation and his novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, further solidifies his role as a multifaceted storyteller. In 2025, Quentin Tarantino exemplifies evolution without losing essence, anchored by creativity, family, and cultural integrity. Whether curating movies in revival houses, writing for the stage, or guiding the next generation of storytellers, he remains authentically himself. Bold, deliberate, and unmistakably cinematic. That brings us to the end of this story. If you enjoyed it, don't miss the other celebrity journeys waiting for you on screen. Thanks so much for watching.